Hi, T-shirts or T-sHz or however you pronounce it really. In this video, I'll be doing something I haven't done in a while, which is an unboxing or unpacking or pack opening or whatever you want to call it of a product. I used to do them like several years ago on the my YouTube channel. They're still there. Been a while, and since I've only really been doing like meme videos and shit posts and YTPs and whatnot, and it gets a bit monotonous after a while, uploading a video every 3 or 4 months. The reason I've done this mainly is because I've been getting back into collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards again. Been a while since I've done that, and I've been sort of searching through Amazon and eBay and all those places looking for new cards, and I thought I'd treat myself to pre-ordering one of the newest sets, well, as of this video anyway, and that is the collector's set Ghosts from the Past, The Second Haunting, which is the sequel set to the, well, Ghosts from the Past set. Yeah, I was looking forward to its release, and as said, I pre-ordered it on eBay. Credit goes to Gecko Cards for allowing the pre-orders to be purchased on their eBay page. So I'm not being sponsored or anything. I just thought I'd give them credit for, like, you know, allowing pre-orders to happen on their eBay thing. And it arrived in pretty good condition. The delivery box was a bit damaged, but the actual case of this product is pretty much fine really, just no significant damage. It looks different to the box from the Ghosts of the Past, the original Ghosts of the Past from the past set. Before I actually get to opening the booster packs themselves, just a few details about the Second Haunting for those who aren't aware. I did get the first Ghost from the Past back in October 2021, which was a few months after it launched, from when I went to London Comic Con, which came with 3 booster packs, while this Second Haunting comes with 4 instead of 3, which is cool. So you're getting a little bit more value for your money. So yeah, as I said, this is the sequel set, which came out May 2022, which contains new cards, as well as some holofoil versions of older cards. Just like with Ghosts from the Past, these only contain ultra rares and a handful of ghost rares, which is one of the highest rarities in Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment. They've said that the chance of getting a ghost rare is increased, whether that's because there are more ghost rares to collect, or they actually increase the ratio of ratio chance of getting a ghost rare instead of ultra rare. I also like how they also saying to download and duel now on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links app. Well, ever since Master Duel came out, I don't think anyone's going to be downloading and playing that anymore, at least not to the extent they used to. So enough waffling, let's actually get to opening this box. As I said, it feels much more high quality than the box from the first Ghost from the Past set. It's got the Konami tape on the side. This might take a few seconds or years to get that son of a biscuit off. This is the first edition set, so no unlimiteds here. And there we go, finally. Jeez, I'm terrible at opening things. In terms of the first Ghost from the Past, I didn't really get anything substantial from that set. The Jama Country, one of those Cosmo Tin Can cards, and that Baby Mist Valley monster thing. So yeah, here we go. These are the 4 packs. We'll go one at a time, starting from, I think it's just easier to go from left to right. It's kind of difficult to see because they're so sort of shiny. Right, let's start with this pack. So this is Red Dragon Archfiend, I think. It looks like an Archfiend monster. 5 cards every pack. It's the UK version since I'm British. Okay, here we go. So let's start with the first pack. So yeah, because I remember when trying to opening that, I did a video of a special edition of the Alpha Sapphire game card. Game rather, so not game, just game. And I damaged the actual model, so I had to use glue to put it together. So yeah, let's just start here. Let's see what we got. Ghost Trick Mummy. So that basically allows you to normal summon, but it has to be a specific monster. I don't know about that. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this card. I'm not really aware of Ghost Tricks. I've heard of them, but I'm not really sure if they're worth a damn really. The fact that you can change the face down to defense position, it's okay, but the problem is it's 0, so it can easily be beaten down by anything because it's got 0 defense. So just as a desperate measure. I like the card art though, and it's definitely an ultra rare. You can see how shiny it is. Okay, I'm not really sure about that in a moment. It's Vision Hero Minimum Ray. I grew up kind of at the time where elemental heroes were a big thing. Not sure if Vision Hero is any good. Vision Heroes are about, I guess, putting monsters in your spell and trap card zones, like pendulum monsters. Okay. You contribute a monster if you want to place this from the spell trap card zone to the field. Oh, so that's why you go to destroy what level 1, level 4 or lower monster your opponent controls. So, well, that's not bad, because I guess because level 4s are so common, it's bound to happen quite often. So, yeah, yet again, I'm not really sure. It could be a good card. I guess their gimmick is being placed in spell and trap card zones, special summoning them by tributing a monster on your field to replace them, pretty much. And when you do, they have a special effect. Interesting mechanic, but I don't know. Yeah, mixed feelings about them, but I do like the card art, and it's nice and shiny. Glow Up Bloom. Isn't there like another card that looks similar to this or something? It's a zombie. I thought it was a plant. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard. Add 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand. Or if zombie ward's in the field... Oh. It's one of those cards that requires a field spell to do something else. It's in the field zone. You can special summon it from the deck. Oh, okay. So you can special summon it from your deck. If zombie ward's in there. Okay, that's not a bad effect. They might as well just say you can only special summon zombie monsters instead of having you cannot unless it's this. Okay, that's not too bad. It's annoying that you have to use a specific field just to use that effect. But then again, it's a good effect that special summons this straight from the deck to the field. Which, so, okay. Like, zombie, I can see zombies using this, maybe possibly. Yeah, I'm not really sure. We've got a Binding of Isaac reference with this one. Box of Friends. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, okay, you can special summon two normal monsters with 0 attack or defense. That's better because there's quite a few normal monsters, especially in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, where they have a high attack but very non-existent defense and vice versa. But normal monsters, who really uses normal monsters in modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks? A majority of Yu-Gi-Oh decks have mainly effect monsters with different names. Okay, so they've got to be normal monsters with 0 attack or defense, and they both have to have different names from your deck in defense position. Okay, as said, quite a lot of these normal monsters that do see play have really high attack for their level and 0 defense. So this is quite an awkward clause, like putting them in defense position instead of attack position. But they cannot be used as synchro material. Okay, and also they're destroyed during your next end phase. Special summoning 2 monsters is good, but they're normal. They have to belong to that 0 attack or 0 defense pool. They have to have different names. They have to be in defense position when special summoned, unless you find a way to change his battle position before the end of your turn. Yeah, I'm not getting good vibes from this card, to be honest. Mordell. Gene Raider, Boss of Light. High level, that's a good sign. Not very good stats for his level though. It's level 9 and only has 2400 attack and defense. So it must have a really good effect, I suppose. Shiny, she looks nice. Plant, not fairy. Okay. Well, there's no dual typing in Yu-Gi-Oh! You can only control one of these if this card is normal or special summoned. You can add 1 Gene Raider, I think it's Generator. You can add 1 Generator card or 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand, except this card, or any card with this name. You can only use this effect once per turn. So that's actually a pretty powerful effect. I think this is slightly better than the other cards I've shown already. I like the artwork as well, I think that helps too. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad, but some of these feel a little bit underwhelming, especially like Box of Friends and Ghost Trick Mummy. So let's go with the Dark Magician Girl booster pack. Chances are we're going to get a duplicate or 2 maybe, even though it's like about 130 to 140 cards in this set. Just like with a lot of other card games, you're bound to get duplicates regardless of the size of the set. So the artwork of these packs don't really matter. I'm just sort of splitting them up. So let's go. The Executor of the Underworld, Pluto. We got an agent in this. So the agents is quite an old archetype. I think it was Ancient Sanctuary they started out in. I have a rare Agent of Creation Venus, which is also in this set as an ultra rare. So it's cool to see agents getting support even though it's quite an old archetype. So this card looks pretty cool, based on the planet, which is not a planet, is a planet, who knows. So yeah, I like the card art. Fairy Synchro, the tuner, okay. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. So it's generic, which is good. And it's always treated as agent card. Once per turn, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard, okay? Then target one effect monster on the field. Change it. Okay, so you could change it to face down defense position. Good for flip effect monsters. Okay, that's not bad. Sub-terrors maybe? This is a quick effect if the Sanctuary in the Sky... Why do so many cards like these have like these field that requires field spells? It's an added bonus, I get it, but still, it's kind of a bit frustrating. Same with like Gravekeepers and needing Necro Valley to be somewhat decent. It's a quick effect if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. Oh, or in either graveyard, so it doesn't have to be on the field. That's okay then. That's much better. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one. Oh, you can even add the field spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so that's cool. So that's not bad. It's clearly made to make Sanctuary Sky much more accessible. I like the card art. I'm glad that Ancients are coming back with more support over the years. Yeah, it's good to see that Synchros also still exist, despite, Link's pretty much taking over the game. Actually, I'm starting to think that this is actually not a bad card for the archetype, so yeah. Hela, Generator, Boss of Doom, like the name already. And yeah, again, awesome card art. Okay, so this one says... You can only control one of her on the field. Why didn't the other one put it like that? Quick effect. You contribute one generator monster or one zombie monster, then target one generator monster or one zombie monster in your graveyard with a different name than the attributed monster they had in the field. Special summon that monster in defense position. So you're exchanging one monster currently on your field with a monster in your graveyard. Perhaps there's a generator in the archetype that has a really high defense, so I'm guessing that's why you're doing that, to create some sort of sturdy wall to buy time. Better defense, but abysmal attack. You're not really gaining much advantage. You're getting rid of one monster to bring another from the graveyard. But if you're getting rid of a generator or zombie monster, like level 3 or 4, for example, and then you're special summoning something from a graveyard that's level, 8 or 9, like a generator, for example, or any zombie monster like that, you might gain some advantage. Not a huge amount, but possibly. Attack's terrible, so it could easily be taken out unless you manage to change its position or if it's attacked into. And you've got a monster that can use this effect with a good defense, but not great for its level. It's actually not very good at all, actually. I changed my mind. 2800 defense and level 9 monster is not great. Mecha Phantom Beast Cult Wing. I've heard of Mecha Phantoms. I know they like to summon tokens, so maybe this has something to do with that. Oh, it does. Okay, if this card is special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. Machine Wind, level 3, but 0 attack and 0 defense. You must control another Mecha Phantom Beast to activate and to resolve this effect. So you can't just generate them by just special summoning this monster. You have to have another Mecha Phantom Beast on the field. I like the card artwork though. This card's level is increased by the total levels of all Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control. So if you keep those tokens on the field, this monster's level becomes 10. Might be good for XYZ summoning, I guess. While you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle card effects. Good protection. But with tokens as weak as these ones that you get from special summoning this monster, I doubt this will happen very often. Its stats are also kind of mediocre for a modern level 4 monster, so once per turn you contribute 2 tokens, like the ones you special summoned, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, banish it. It doesn't negate the effects, and I guess it's to destroy face down targets or continuous spells maybe? It's cards, so it can target monsters, spells, or traps, which is good. If you target a flip effect monster, like a sub-terror for example, it doesn't negate it. It still activates if you attempt to destroy it, which is not great, but you get to banish it, which is good. Banishing is better than sending it to the graveyard. They're harder to get back if they're banished. I guess I'm being nitpicky, but yeah, I'm not really feeling this one. Despian Tragedy. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add one Despia monster from your deck. Good effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one branded spell trap in your graveyard. Never heard of branded. Set it to your field. You can only use hard once per turn, so you can only use the effect of Despian Tragedy during your turn once and once only. So being able to set a spell trap from your graveyard straight to the field is not bad, especially if it's a trap. As said, I don't have much knowledge of Despian, so maybe this is amazing for its archetype. I think this is not half bad. Okay, now we're getting to more familiar territory. Chaos Grepher. Remember Warrior Die Grepher used to be a pretty good normal monster back in the earlier years of Yu-Gi-Oh! I like this card art as well. Level 4 Warrior, that's pretty good. Warrior's a very common type. 1700, 1600, just like the original Grepher. Not bad stats at all. While face up on the field, this card is also Dark Attribute, because it's light, okay? You can discard one light or one dark monster. Then send one light or dark monster with the different attributes than the discarded monster from your deck to your graveyard. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same name as the one sent to the graveyard by this effect. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks like to use multiple copies of a card, so this could be, not great. You can only use this effect of Chaos Grepher once per turn. Sending cards from deck to graveyard is not bad if you're trying to establish some sort of strategy. This is not bad. I can see what they were going for, and it's interesting seeing so much Chaos support with like Blackluster Soldier decks and what have you. And you cannot special summon monsters with the same name, which, as said, if you're trying to set up some sort of combos, can make it a bit more difficult. Not too difficult though, so I think it fits quite nicely with the Chaos Grepher, the Chaos archetype. Yeah. So I think this second pack was slightly better. Blue Eyes White Dragon pack. Well, the pack with the Blue Eyes White Dragon illustration. Let's see what we got here. DD Savant Copernicus. Oh, it's a pendulum monster. Our first pendulum monster. Sweet. It's a level 4 monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. Usually though, these cards with those stats have amazing effects, so fingers crossed. Pendulum scale 1. Very good number. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once, while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate an activated spell effect that would inflict damage to you, then destroy this card. I remember in the early years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like cards like Ukazi, Poison of the Old Man, even like stuff like Final Flame, those kind of cards, they popped up quite often because it was a great way of creating burn damage easily and instantly. Except for Sparks, that card's shit. This is a bit too niche, I think. I could be completely wrong though. I'm sure there's one or two archetypes where they can inflict a humongous amount of burn damage with like a spell effect. So, but that's the pendulum effect. What does the actual monster do? Because it's also an effect monster. Dark Fiend. Amazing typing. If this card is normal special summoned, you can send one DD or Dark Contract card from your deck to your graveyard, except DD Savant Copernicus. You can only use DD Savant Copernicus effect once per turn. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I'm not very knowledgeable about DD cards. I've heard of Dark Contracts, and I know that they've received a bit of support quite recently. But being able to send any card from your deck to your graveyard is amazing. I would say you're probably using this more often effect monster instead of a pendulum monster, but I could be wrong. So you're either using this for a really good graveyard effect as an effect monster, or if it's a pendulum monster, using it just for its pendulum scale, really. This one's not half bad, I think. Chorus in the Sky. Pay 1,000 life points. Then target one fairy monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. I guess if it's special summoned it'll be better, but the fact it doesn't even do that, it just adds it to your hand. It's not bad, but paying life points to do that? Yeah, I'm not so sure. Then if Sanctuary in the Sky... Oh, it's an agent spell card, okay. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, in either graveyard, you can add one of the banished Sanctuary in the Skies, or one of the banished cards that mentions it, to your hand. Alright, so just like with the previous agent card we talked about, this is supposed to make it so you can get Sanctuary Sky on the field much more efficiently. So you're getting two effects, you can use both if you want to or not. So there's a little bit of versatility there, but I'm not so sure, like, with Sanctuary Sky, instead of being in a graveyard, it has to be banished, so yeah. Ghost Trick Dullahan. Dark Fiend, great start. 2 level 1 monsters. This card gains 200 attack for each Ghost Trick card you control. It's not very high amount of attack, really. Well, it is for a level 1 monster, I suppose. So you're tributing 2 monsters for basically a card that can have as much as... Well, that includes itself, because it's a Ghost Trick as well, isn't it? So 2,000, correct me if I'm wrong on that, which is not fantastic, but it's got another effect. Once per turn, quick effect. Okay, that's good. You can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster in the field. Half its attack. Good if you want to beat it over with something, because as mentioned, at best, this card's going to be 2,000 on its own, with its effect. assuming you have a full board of Ghost Tricks. Can't guarantee it though, so having its attack until the end of the turn, so it's not permanent. It doesn't really matter too much if you can just attack through it anyway. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one other Ghost Trick card in the graveyard. Add that target to your hand. So it's got a good sort of, post-death effect where you can bring something back to your hand to add resources. So I think the latter effect is slightly better than its former effect. It has 3 effects, but its attack is really based on how many Ghost Tricks are on the board. So it's a reliance on having the same archetype cards on the field. Quite high for a level 1, but for a 2 tribute monster, I don't know. It doesn't sound too great. Yeah, I'm not feeling this one really. Not really. Baxia. Brightness of the Yangzing. Level 8 Light Worm. It's a synchro, 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner worm monsters. So it's not too bad. Not as generic as some of the other cards, synchro monsters, but not too bad. Its stats are not very good for its cost. 2300 attack and 2600 defense. On a level 8 monster is not great, but it must have a really good effect. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target cards in the field up to the number of different original attributes of the worm monsters used for the synchro summon of this card. Shuffle them into the deck. I really like the card artwork though, it's pretty cool. So I'm guessing our gimmick is that they have numerous attributes. So this is basically to prevent yourself from decking out, which is something that very rarely ever happens. I don't think Yangzings have that problem, but yeah, again, correct me on that. What's the point of that effect really? Except for preventing deck out. Once per turn, you can target 1 card you control and 1 level 4 lower monster in your graveyard. Destroy that card on the field, and if you do, special summon the other monster from the graveyard. So yet again, it's a 1-for-1. You're getting rid of a monster for a low level monster from your graveyard. So you better make sure that you're getting rid of another low level monster. Otherwise, you're kind of getting yourself into a disadvantage really, unless that level 4 low monster has a really good effect. I'm not seeing much of a purpose of these 2 effects. Not wowing me really. And we end this pack with a Magician card. Nice. Chronicle Magician. Dark Spellcaster, that's great. Level 7, not bad stats for level 7. Similar to Dark Magician's stats. If a monster with 2500 original attack or defense is normal or special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. So you're getting a bonus just for doing something that you're bound to do with a Dark Magician in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's a nice little bonus. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone. So it is definitely Dark Magician support, that clarifies it. Blue Eyes White Dragon support though? Well, it does have 2500 defense, so yeah, that of course it makes sense. Monster zone. It gains 2500 attack or defense until the end of the turn. So it's quite flexible because it could be used for either Dark Magician or Blue Eyes. And whilst they're not amazing decks, they still see a fuck ton of support. Pretty certain this will definitely be mentioned here and there. A great way of adding more stuff to the field just by special summoning either of those cards, Dark Magician or Blue Eyes, and giving them a nice little power boost as well, similar to the Guy the Fierce Knight support. So yeah, I actually quite like this card. I have a soft spot for Magicians. I like Endymions as well. Dark Magicians are pretty cool. I actually quite like this card a lot. Yeah, certainly more than some of the other cards. I have a stronger feeling this will see more, play than some of the others. Just because of the popularity of Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. Can be handy in some situations, so yeah, it's not half bad. I quite like it. Let's end it with the Cyber Dragon pack. Here we go. Last pack. I'm not expecting anything amazing, but let's see. Fossil Machine Skull Buggy. So Rock Fusion, level 4, 1400 attack and 1200 defense. Quite poor for level 4, especially a level 4 fusion monster. 1 rock monster in your graveyard, shouldn't be too hard. And 1 level 4 low monster. It must be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. Oh, okay. When this card destroys an opponent's monster with battle, quite difficult for a 1400 attack monster, but okay, let's go with it. You can inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Whoop-de-freaking-do. You can banish this card from your graveyard Add one monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Fossil Fusion. Yeah, very underwhelming in my opinion. You can't just use any fusion spell card, it has to be this specific one. You can't use polymerization, I don't think you can even use super polymerization. Fusion summons are special summons, aren't they? So destroying anything with this thing is going to be very difficult with that kind of stat line, unless you boost it with some spell cards or other monster effects. It requires a bit too much work to do that. And even if we do, the only benefit is inflicting 600 more damage. But being able to add a card that mentions Fossil Fusion, I'm guessing there's quite a few of them that have Fossil Fusion in its card description. And that's add any monster in your deck. It doesn't have to be a rock type or a machine type or anything like that. That mentions Fossil Fusion. So yeah, kind of underwhelming, sorry. We got a classic here. The Agent of Wisdom Mercury. It's a level 4 fairy, 0 attack, terrible, 1700 defense, not too bad. Once per turn during your standby phase, if you controlled this face-up card in the monster zone and had no cards in your hand at the end of the opponent's last turn, draw one card. Ooh, this is bad. Currently though, I could be completely wrong. It's definitely an old card because that effect isn't great. Now we got a card I quite like a lot. Number 60, Dugares the Timeless. Is that how you pronounce it? Dugares? Who cares? It's a cool card. Fire Fiend. Fire's not great, but Fiend, amazing. 2 level 4 monsters, perfect. Level 4s are really easy to come by, so it should be a piece of piss getting this on the field. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then activate one of the following effects. Skip your next draw phase, then also draw 2 cards, so it's a bit like Reckless Greed, only you discard 1 card at the end afterwards. Skip your next main phase 1, also special summon 1 monster from your graveyard in defense position. Or you can skip the battle phase of your next turn and double the attack of 1 monster you control. Good if your opponent doesn't have many cards on the field, but I think I would have preferred it if it allowed you just to attack twice with the monster instead. But I guess Konami remembered Envoy at the beginning being downright broken when it first came out. I kind of like it because it goes well with one of my favorite archetypes, Danger, an archetype that benefits from being discarded from the hand. So yeah, I'm glad I actually have one now because I like this card quite a bit. So yeah, I'm glad I got this one. Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. It's level 10, but it's 0 attack, 0 defense. Usually when a monster is high level and has no attack or defense, it's possibly a good sign because it means they have a really powerful effect to compensate. Dark Machine, not a bad typing. 1 Cyber Dragon monster and 1 monster in the extra monster zone. 1 plus monsters in the extra monster zone actually. I'm glad that these fused monsters are now, not requiring ultra specific materials. Cannot be used as fusion material. Okay. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards from either field and graveyard. So just like a machine fusion monster, it doesn't require polymerization. That's also pretty good. Just like the XYZ archetype. That's cool. The original attack of this card becomes 1200 times the number of materials used for its special summon. Are there only 2 extra monster zones? So in that case, it can only be up to 2, right? So its attack becomes at most 3600. So it's either 2400 or 3600. 3600 is not bad for level 10, but 2400 is abysmal. And it doesn't really do anything else either, really. It just kind of does that. It doesn't prevent damage or card effects or, no brewer protection or floating effect or anything. It's a beat stick. So it can destroy your opponent's extra monster zone monster. Actually, that's cool. But other than that, it's a beat stick. So, I don't know. Last of all, we have Reptia Egg. I'm not a fan of the card artwork. Don't get me wrong, it looks like it's well drawn, but they didn't really have much to work with, did they? They're just eggs. 0 attack, 0 defense. Cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card was normal summoned, during the standby phase of the summoning player's next turn, you contribute this card. Special summon up to 3 level 4 lower reptile or rock monsters from your hand and or deck, but banish them during the end phase. If you special summon 2 or more monsters, they must have the same name. Ugh. I have a feeling that we ended on a bit of a low note, because this doesn't sound great. So first off, you're getting rid of your normal summon just to play this monster with no stats whatsoever from your hand or deck. That's pretty cool, but the real question is, will you be able to pull this off? I have doubts. It feels too slow and requires too much maintenance to protect it just to play a bunch of monsters. And even worse, they all have to have different, most of them have to have different names. Because if you summon 2 or more of the monsters using this effect, they must have the same name, which is incredibly awkward. So yeah, sadly, Reptiegg is kind of lame. So yeah, overall, there are some cards I really liked, like this number 60. Some cards I don't really like much at all, like Agent of Wisdom, the Fossil Machine, Fusion Monster. And cards I liked quite a lot, like Chronicle Magician. So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you didn't watch, then thanks, bye.